We have a rematch of the 2022 Indian Wells final as Iga Swiatek and Maria Sakkari will battle for one of tennis's biggest trophies. Swiatek dominated that championship match 2 years ago and will be a heavy favorite to notch her second title in tennis paradise. But can Sakkari, with the help of her new coach David Witt, soar to a second WTA 1000 trophy? Hi, my name is Christian Basnight and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This might come as a surprise to you all, but Sakkari actually leads the head-to-head with Swiatek 3-2. The Greek women won their first 3 meetings, which all were before 2022, all were in 2021 actually, and that was before Iga became Iga 2.0, and they have not played since that 2022 Indian Wells final. Sakkari has spent a lot more time on court compared to Iga this tournament, about 5-6 hours more. She's also played tougher opposition en route to the final rankings wise. Now, talking about Maria's path to this final, she has had to go to the distance in 4 of her 5 matches played in the desert. The 9th seed came from a set down to defeat Diana Schneider and got her lone straight sets win over 20th seed Caroline Garcia in the 3rd round. She beat another French woman, Diane Perry, in the round of 16, and in the quarter she recovered from a set down to beat the red-hot Emma Navarro, who ousted Sabalenka. And then, of course, in the semifinals, she defeated Coco Gauff in another 3-set battle. It was a match where Sakkari had to overcome numerous rain delays and fumbled match points before taking down the world number 3 and reigning US Open champion. Sakkari honestly could have scored a straightforward 6-4, 6-2 win against Gauff as she led the American 6-4, 5-2, and she held 3 match points when serving for it again at 5-4, but Coco is a fighter and made her work for it. Sakkari didn't necessarily choke away this lead like she's done leads in the past. It was more about Coco stepping up and raising her level of play, although you could argue that if Sakkari's level was high enough, she could have closed that match out in straight sets. What's more impressive to me about Sakkari is that she could have easily went away, but she was able to rebound from fumbling those missed opportunities. Gauff, honestly, she could have ran away with the 3rd set. She got the early break and she had more breakpoint opportunities, but the forehand and serve really let her down a bit, while Sakkari was just too solid at the end. As I mentioned in the intro, Maria has hired David Witt, who was the former coach of Venus Williams and Jessica Pegula. For this to be their first tournament together, it's safe to say that Witt is here to stay. Meanwhile, it's been all business from Swiatek this week, despite being dealt a tricky draw. Swiatek hasn't just reached the Indian Wells final without dropping a set, but she's done so without losing more than 4 games in a match. The world number 1 opened against Danielle Collins, dominating that affair 6-3, 6-love. In the 3rd round, she got revenge over 26 seed Lena Noskova, the woman who eliminated her in Melbourne, as she won that one 6-4, 6-love. In the round of 16, Swiatek dominated Yulia Putintseva before getting the walkover from Caroline Wozniacki in the quarterfinals. And then in the semifinals, she dismantled Marta Kostyuk 6-2, 6-1. Iga said herself that the Kostyuk match was the cleanest by far, and I agree. And most of her matches at Indian Wells, even though she has been very dominant, it took her a few games to really hit her stride, but against Marta, she was rather sharp from the beginning. Iga was mainly very solid from the ground and outlasted the error-prone Ukrainian. And Swiatek really didn't need to do anything out of her normal comfort zone or anything out of the ordinary besides not letting Marta overpower her. Swiatek's forehand too has looked notably sharper this tournament, but I'm more particularly impressed by Iga's serve. Swiatek has upped MPHs on her serve to great effect as she's gotten more comfortable holds in her matches. Against Kostyuk, her first serve percentage was high at 73%, and she won 83% of points behind her first serves in that match, which was a recipe for success. Looking back briefly at that Indian Wells final from 2022, it was not that high quality of a final, largely due to it being a very windy day. That said, Iga adjusted far better to the conditions and was able to be more of the aggressor, which made the big difference. Luckily, there isn't supposed to be that much wind or any rain at all forecasted for tomorrow's final, so hopefully we'll see a high level from both women. Considering things that Sakkari can do or needs to do to pull off the upset, Maria needs to go for more on her serve, especially on her second serve. I was not pleased really with Sakkari's second serve against Gauff. It was sitting up far too much, and Swiatek is the type of player that will consistently take advantage of those easy second serve looks. Maria only held twice in that Indian Wells final from 2022, and ineffective serving was a big contributor to that. Sakkari has been stepping up and has been much more aggressive this tournament. I think her aggression and willingness to change direction and move forward more is a major reason of why she was so successful against Goff. She definitely needs to do this again against Iga. Now, unless Iga has a few periods of where she's spraying a bunch of balls, Maria is going to find it hard to just simply try to out-rally Iga from the ground and hang in there from these baseline to baseline exchanges. She's going to have to take it to her, because if she doesn't, Iga will be quick to change direction and take control of points. However, when she does this, she has to be smart with it, unlike Marta Kostyuk. Perhaps the biggest thing for Sakkari is to be opportunistic. I mentioned how Sakkari fumbled that set and double break lead over Goff, and that's something that she cannot afford to do against Iga in this final. In 2022, Maria went up breaks on 2 occasions early on in that first set, but she did not have enough conviction to seize her chances, and Iga ran away with it in the end. For Iga to be successful, I just have to say, keep up the solid job of serving well and playing within herself from the ground. My main concern for her is that she'll perhaps be outplayed from the ground, as Sakkari can bring firepower when she wants to, but I don't think that this will happen. I think Swiatek's main play here with Sakkari is to beat her with depth and pace. Coco couldn't do this as much, but there were times when the American stepped up and made Sakkari uncomfortable from the baseline, but overall, Swiatek will consistently challenge her more from the ground. Sakkari struggles a lot with balls that are deep and hard. However, when you give her time, she will make you pay consistently, especially with that big forehand. Now, giving my final prediction now, I have Swiatek defeating Maria Sakkari in straight sets with a score of 6-4, 6-4. Aside from me believing that Iga Swiatek 2.0 simply isn't that great of a matchup for Sakkari right now, I think that there being more at stake for Sakkari here could be a deciding factor in this affair. Iga has already won 1,000 title in 2024 and is seeking her 8th 1,000. Maria is looking for her second 1,000 title and her 3rd title, WTA title overall. She knows a win of this magnitude could set her up for a big season. Now, Iga will be the pretty big favorite, so perhaps more pressures on her, but you know, she's used to being the favorite, so I don't think that she'll be too affected by that. And then of course we know Sakkari, she can be a mental head case, as we've seen from her in the past. That said, she seemingly has exercised her semifinal demons, plus I think her winning that Guadalajara 1000 title last fall will be huge for her confidence in this match. However, many top players did not play that Guadalajara event, and it felt honestly more like a 500 as opposed to a 1000. Now, even though this Indian Wells title is on the same level of Guadalajara as both our 1000 tournaments, Indian Wells is a huge title and it is very prestigious. People sometimes even call it the 5th slam. Iga has already won this tournament before and is far more used to playing big matches. Not only that, but she plays her best tennis in these big matches. I was going to give Iga a comfortable 6-4, 6-2 win, but I think Sakkari having to grind her way through these tough matches will give her an edge in some sense. She's used to dealing with adversity this event, whereas Iga has not been tested at all. Considering some other mental edges that Sakkari might have, of course, she does lead the head-to-head with Iga 3-2, even though they haven't played in a couple years, and two are on very different levels of their careers. She has the confidence in knowing that she's beaten Iga 3 times. Not only that, but she was the very last person to beat Iga at Roland Garros, where, you know, she's the queen at right now. And in that match, Iga didn't play that bad of a match, but Sakkari really stepped up and played probably one of the best matches of her career. I think that if she can think about a success like that she's had over Iga, and knowing that if she can bring her level, perhaps she can, you know, not only test her but beat the Polish woman, I think that could be really big for her in this final. And then lastly, I also think David Witt's calmer personality could rub off well on Maria and help her not get so tense, enabling her to play better tennis. I also think too that knowing that she has a new coach and really has a fresh start within her, those 2 losses that she had to Iga in the past in 2022 can be more out of the window, and she'll be, you know, more forward looking. Still, I believe Swiatek will reign supreme once again in Indian Wells, and I see her hoisting the big trophy Sunday afternoon. Do you agree with me having Iga win this in straight sets, or can Sakkari nab a set or 2 and pull off the upset? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post my women's final recap video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon.